Hello. How is everybody doing out there? And this beautiful world of ours today. I'm hoping everybody's having a fabulous day. Went for a walk, sort of a walk this morning. Went on a couple little walks this morning. Took Mateus to school and on his little walk this morning. And yeah, it was a good walk. It was a good walk. Yeah. Enjoyed that. And saw the sunrise this morning, which was beautiful at North Glenmore Park. And I'm thinking, well, we're coming into the weekend. I want to go somewhere else. I want to go to a different spot. Get up early and go to a different place to go for a walk or walk and chat. That's what it is. I want to go for a walk and chat and talk about some of the cray things of the world, which I usually talk about every day, anyways. Uh, it is. It's what do we have right now? Let's just look a little bit at the astrology and what's going on. So we do have the moon in Cancer. Sun is in Capricorn. It's exalted there. It's going to be coming close to its exaltation um point within Aries, and we're building up for that Mercury, or well, not that Mercury. Well, Mercury's in Aries. He's almost at the end of Aries. He's just speeding along, and he's going to be in Taurus soon. And then it's that Neptune conjunction with Jupiter. That's what it is. Neptune and Jupiter. Mars has gone past Saturn, and we have so I mean, okay. All right, it's going to be an extreme weekend. What can I say, you know? So the thing is that, we do understand that Jupiter with Neptune, I mean, it is there's a lot of information out there. And that's the thing. This is what I'm having an issue with. I don't know. Let me know if you're having a problem with this also. Is okay. Certain things I know to be true. Okay, I know there's a food shortage. I've seen that. I understand that. Um I see it. I know the prices are going up and it's getting crazy. The thing that sort of bothers me is the thing in Ukraine. My heart goes out to the people that live there, but yet I don't believe half the media shit that's coming out on Ukraine and the things that are going on. I don't want to dismiss it. I don't want to be wrong about it, but it just doesn't feel right. There's something odd there. And we're dealing with E- Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe is totally different than Western Europe. The energy, you could see it in pictures. So you see a picture even from um before the wall went down, you saw West Berlin and East Berlin, so West and East Germany. And there was such a vibrational difference between the two. And the other thing too is that there are things that the KGB do and the manipulation, and they were studying psychic warfare before the Americans. They had psychics out working for them. And you know how years ago there was a project that they did, and they did it with the CIA, where they got psychics together to figure out what was going on in different areas, right? So they would tune in. Um and they would projectile, and to see what's going on in those areas. And Russia was doing it way before many other countries. Germany was tapping into that during World War II and using psychics. Now, at first, Hitler banished the psychics and astrologers, and then he started bringing them in, especially the astrologers, and in how he would do things, and say start, bomb that place or whatever it was. He would really use the astrology on that. So I find it interesting. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Putin is an ex KGB. And this is just me, I'm just spewing, I'm just saying, I don't, but, and with the Ukraine person, the president of Ukraine, I mean, he just mentioned to dismantle the UN. And I thought that was very after they ousted Russia, like, in around ousting at Russia, and it's like he was saying that the UN isn't really doing anything for them. And he's like, well, I don't know why you guys are still basically still here. I didn't hear the whole thing, but so here it is. It's like, is there some kind of mind thingy that he's throwing out? Because the thing is about the West. The West is very heart driven, many times. And, when we see, to get the people motivated and that you see pictures of babies. And when right now, I mean, somebody just posted a woman giving birth as the bombs were shelling. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it is, but there is such, um, you know, information that comes out that isn't true. And I women, I think, through around the world in many places are giving birth in disgusting, atrocities in around the world. And I just find that there's just something there that just doesn't seem right. I don't know. I don't, my heart goes to a lot of the people coming in from Ukraine. Again, there's just something there that I don't know, and I think I'm putting it not so much about the people, but the government, and maybe how something's off there. I'm just feeling something's off. I don't know if anybody else feels something's off there, and I'm just going by my feeling. And I haven't really dove too deeply into this crisis. Tried not to. Um, my thing it goes back to moving forward, and that's where, with this energy, it's about moving forward. And I think with that moon still in Cancer, we're still feeling a lot of bombardment and unrest with this all as we're building up to a full moon. And why am I yawning? Oh, excuse me. Oh, whew. Yawning. I need more coffee. As we're building up to a full moon next week, and it's Easter weekend. So I think there's going to be sort of a lull within the Easter. I feel the same about the Ukraine situation. Yeah. And I my heart goes out to them, and I don't think anybody should live through war or invasion or anything like that. I think that's wrong. It's just wrong. But there's something up there, and there's something about the two of them. And I know there's things going on in Putin's chart. I don't know the other guy's chart yet, and I can never remember his name. But just the way the KGB works, and how they have worked in order to manipulate governments and people and things like that. And they've been working on psychological warfare way before, North America. And I think it was planned. I think so too, Chantal. I do. I do. I think it was planned. And and this is like how much 600 million, I think it's $600 million, and 600 million in money and in heavy equipment and armory is going to the Ukraine. And I'm wondering, okay, if all of this is going into the Ukraine, and they're getting all of this high tech, whatever it is, military aid, what's wrong? And I wouldn't put anything past Putin. I really wouldn't put anything past him. That man is very manipulative. I've seen him in interviews, especially with women, and he's got a way about him that you can't flirt with this man. This is a man that is not where you could win him over with your flirtation. That's just not him. He is a very well-trained person, and he is very knowing of psychological warfare. Very, and this is where I feel it's just crazy. It's just like, who is it? Obama went into the White House and wanting to help Biden to so that hopefully he can win another term. Like, no, retire the poor man. Put him out to pasture. Put him out to pasture. This is like, it doesn't matter what you whisper into his that man's ear. I don't know if he's coherent enough for it to really register. And it's just no. I say that though, and people think I know. You should, I get it, but I say it all the time. People think I'm nuts, anyways. But this is where New Zealand just said that they're stressing that they are going to be having a huge food shortage from this. I think this is all you know when we look at history in history, there's always been where um, one country was like the Dutch. The Dutch were in power for so long, and then France took over, and then France, the Empire of France, was in power for so long, and then England took over, and then we had the English taking over, and it was in World War II. Well, even before then, like it started in the 1700s, 1776 where the Americans started to take over and it peaked during World War II. And now we're seeing a decline. And the printing of money to overcompensate for things has been going on since the 1500s, even before that, of, to cover up things. And now we're seeing this decline in the America. And there is a rise in another empire coming up, whether that be China or Russia. And for China or even India, they need Russian Russian guns and things like that in order to fight any of the wars that they're going to fight. So they want, they want to be in bed with Russia, but maybe not fully in bed. I think it's like a supersized king bed, and and, and China's right on the edge over here, and Russia's sort of taken over most of the bed right now, but China doesn't want to be fully in bed with them. Still has one foot on the floor, and the other part in the bed. Where because they still need things from them, right? And right now China has been um they've been locked down. They've been when it comes to their electricity and everything else, it's been um oh my god, I can't even think of words today. Uh, so some places have been going without electricity, and so doing a rotation of that, and also food supply is becoming thin again. Now I know the Chinese government, that's a big thing for them, because back in the late 50s, where they really locked down their borders and they really wanted to be self-sufficient. It started after World War II, and they really were trying to make themselves self-sufficient, ended up going through a horrific time, and starvation hit China. And that's because they implemented stupid laws like killing sparrows and all kind of stupid shit. And not realizing that they need the sparrows for the locusts and things like that, and huge pesticides, and using pesticides on a lot of their crops, and getting rid of a lot of the ways that the farmers have worked the land for so long. So, I mean, either couldn't find my words yesterday or today. I blame the energies. Oh, I do, Shed. It's just the solar flares are just absolutely crazy. So, but this is where, you know, um, where was I at? The China thing. And um how we're connected, and going back to the thing is that as a psychic, we all work on different satellite systems, and receiving the information how we receive it. Like for me, when I do readings, I don't always receive names, but I receive images or pieces, as I get older, it's not I don't see the full person as much as I did when I was younger. I sort of maybe I just sort of like, I don't need to see your face. But, I get an image, I get a sense, I get a smell, I'll get an apron, a pipe, or then I could get, a little bit of a glimpse of the person coming in, or an outfit that they love to wear, things like that. Um, so we all have, we work on a different dial, a different satellite. And I feel like right now we're trying to dial in within our energies on what is going on. I gotta my thoughts keep floating in and out. It is a really fucked up day when it comes to fuzziness in the head. Trust me, it's just, yeah. So I feel like for all of us, it's that dialing in and how we're dialing in, and having ourselves to stay in on that dialing. And in the world right now, we really have to trust our intuition and how we are feeling with the energies. It's just like how I feel about this Putin Ukraine thing. I really think he's in Putin's back pocket. I really do. I think there's something there, and that he's like a double agent or something. This is where it's like we're gonna find out he's a double agent, and he was in Putin's back pocket the whole time, um, and trying to get the US on their side, trying to get NATO on their side, and the whole bit. And this is even with when you look at Germany and stuff like that, it's like, if Russia was your enemy, why are you buying so much fuel and dependent upon them on fuel? It's just crazy things like that. And I think, with the energies and how, a lot of the alignments are coming in, the Legion, what was it? The Legion after World War One was formed, very similar to how the UN. So, and then it got dissolved, and then the UN was brought into power after, I think, World War Two. Oh no, now I'm really bad at this. So I feel like there's something, because I don't think the UN is really doing fully of what it needs to be doing. And there's also this fear of stepping on toes. Now, the UN just kicked out, expelled the Russia was expelled from the UN. That's not good. I just say, you want to be able to talk to somebody, and then you expel them. I ain't talking to you. I just close the door. I ain't talking. Just like, fuck, like, whatever. So we got that crazy thing. That craziness is going on. The other, and I just was wanting to know also, if anybody's noticed, I noticed these things, is that on social media, especially on TikTok, because more people are on TikTok now, that advertisement for joining the forces are coming up. And I posted something from the Leo King, because I was feeling the same thing. And you're going to be starting to see big posters for joining the army, and you're going to be seeing things down in the States, when they had in World War II about Uncle Sam, and coming together as a nation. I mean, they're going to have to do some really heavy propaganda on that shit, because people are like, why are we going to trust you guys? Because you guys, one, do not back our people at all. Especially young people who've gone to war. I mean, we have vets right now that are living below the poverty line. They don't get enough aid for them, and these are people who have gone and fought for our country. So it's like, to really, and the people that are going to be aimed for this, just think about it. It is the millenniums, God help us, and Gen X are the ones that are going to be targeted for the fighting. Now, the Gen X and the Gen Z, like, they don't like, why in the hell am I going to go fight this bullshit? Right? They're they're wanting to leave, and I'm trying to remember what my friend said. The benefits of war, maybe global. It is, the benefit of war is actually to get out of a recession. a depression every time before a great war, like World War II. There was the depression. Now, in the depression, they had not only did they have drought, but they also went around and they dumped vats of milk and things like that, and you started hearing that a couple years ago. They started to really monitor how much um, farmers could grow and things like that, and then they had the huge drought and things that happened during the depression, and also what happened before um, when in 1929 when the stock market bottomed out. I mean, this is where they started printing money and printing money and printing money and printing money to fill that void, and that's what they do to do a reset. I mean, we've had many global resets, as I explained. We had, the Dutch ruled, the French ruled. We had, even when Islam was really, they were doing huge invasions through southern Europe and into Spain, and they had their, you know, of ruling. We also had, and then the French came, and then England. So we remember the English one. It's sort of more closer to into our history books of when they went around and colonized, I guess you'll say, the world. But they weren't the first ones to colonize. And that's the whole thing that people got to, fucking do your history. Many countries and people have done this. And it's just that we're experiencing this for the first time. We have not experienced a huge world war. We have not experienced famine within our own country. We have not experienced inflation to this point. Like, yeah, we had inflation in the 80s or in the 90s and in 2008, but this is going to be the very first time in our history for those who are living here, including the baby boomers, to experience inflation that is going to be up over 20%, when food costs are going up over 50%. This is something that we have not experienced. So this is a new thing, a nuance for us. And stepping into this new change and vibrational change that is happening in the world around us. And as we step into these changes, as we step into these new vibrations, what the dial is, and I keep seeing the dial is like, how are we going to deal with it or dial with it? How are we going to work within this frequency? It's like, okay, gas prices can go up crazily high, which they will. I mean, here in Alberta, they went down a bit, but whoop de doo. They didn't go down enough. But this is where, how are you going to work around this? And this is looking at, how are we going to work around this vibration? How are we going to work around this in order for our own benefit? I can't control Putin. I can't control Biden. God help me, I can't control Trudeau and the bullshit that's going on there, or the deputy prime minister. And how many people who knew exactly who the deputy prime minister was before this pandemic? I guess I wasn't paying a close enough attention. I really, when I first saw her, I do not like her. She's probably, maybe she is a really nice person, kind person, but there's something about her I just don't like. Like, I'm just like, you're not a person I'm going to call up and go for coffee with. That's for damn sure. She just has a weirdness about her. And ugh, yeah, gas is $1.70 here. Nuts. I don't have a license right now. Yeah, and I think that's where we have to start looking at. I've been thinking about getting an e-bike. And I saw how you can get these little solar panels, and if you need to charge anything, so if it went out and you could have these little, like this solar, like for camping and stuff like that. So, and if you have an e-bike, you don't need a license or anything for an e-bike. So that would be cool. And looking at e-bikes and stuff, and how to charge your e-bike with solar panels. Cool. There's ways about it. But that's where it is. It's like, how are we gonna work around it? And I jokingly said to my husband, I said, "Maybe you and I should just, spend, take some money and maybe buy e-bikes right now and do that." I know it's like when you think of Canada, this is, I mean, it's not a viable thing that you could do all year round, obviously, and do that all year round. But this is where to start to look at where do we want to put our energies and how we can work around situations. Like, that's where, we have to look at it. I don't even know what to do, Mary. I like to share my knowledge with people, but like I said, they think I'm crazy and people don't want to wake up, even see the mainstream media corruption. You just have to keep talking, Chantel. You just have to keep doing it. Just have to keep talking. I mean, I have. That's the thing. Not everybody's going to hear what you have to say, and if they don't want to hear it, that's fine. But I'm not going to stop saying what I'm saying. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. It's difficult. I come, as I've said to many, I've lost a lot of clients. My clientele dropped over 30% of people, of followers who are following me, and that's fine. That's fine because they have to figure out their shit. It's not for me to figure out their shit. I can give you the information. I can tell you what's going on. I know the moon is in Cancer and I know it's emotional right now. But as the moon leaves Cancer, right, it goes into Leo. So the moon is going to go into Leo. It's not going to be very happy in Leo. The sun is going to be, so it's going to be a lot of fire. So all of a sudden, we're going to have a lot of fire, a lot of, energy, that's especially this weekend. So we're going to have a lot of energy, a lot of fire this weekend. And we're also, with that Mars energy, and it's getting close to the end of Aquarius, going to be going into Pisces, and Mars hates Pisces. Why does Mars hate Pisces? Because he's a warrior who has to go into the deep sea. And this is where also with Pisces is a sponge-like energy and it just absorbs all of this. It's like a huge radio system, absorbing all this whole, it's a social media system of all what's going on and the craziness of what's going on. And here it is, what are we going to connect to and what are we going to work at, right? And this is where to begin to look at, okay, I'm going to utilize the fire, I'm going to utilize the energy that's happening so I can go forward, right? And and I love versus, well, the thing is, being a Leo, a lot of times they just don't give a fuck. I mean, my father was a Leo, and the things that he did, and went out and to do, were things that people were mad at him for doing. But yet in the end, they're like, "Oh, well, yeah, Harold was right." Or, to do what was right for his family, he did it. He overstepped boundaries that people didn't think that you should overstep, or spoke about things that you weren't supposed to speak about. My father tells the story of, like, this is before I was born. My parents took a trip down to Atlanta, and that time they had 5 kids. So they drove down from Edmonton to Atlanta and down to Chicago to go see my mom's dad. And it was quite a trip. You got to think about it back then in this car with 5 kids. But in Atlanta on the boardwalk, you would get so many tickets and then you would have somebody cart you around, and my father was an Irish Catholic, and he didn't believe that somebody else should be pulling him around at all. And the people that were pulling other people around, it was their job, were people of color. And my father was like, no, 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 no. And because one guy came up and says, "Oh, are you wanting us to take you to a place?" He goes, "My dad says, no, we'll walk." And he goes, "Oh," and he goes, I don't approve of this." And the guy goes, "Well, this is my job and this is how I feed my family. My dad had all these tickets." He goes, "Well, these tickets were given to me. Here, you can have them if that's going to feed your family." That's the way my dad was. I mean, they even went on a beach. God bless my dad. And my dad is like my dad was 6'2", blonde haired, blue eyes. Like, a big man, and he went on a beach, and he went on this beach and mm, didn't think anything of it, but it was because it was during segregation. So I was born in 63. My parents went there in about 61, and it was segregation. But my dad didn't real like yeah, there's segregation, didn't think anything of it. And there's my brothers and sisters playing with all the other kids, and they didn't give a shit what color they were. And that's the thing about being like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit that, and then some guy came up and said, "Sir, I think you need to move your family." And my mother's like, is a Sagittarius. She's like, "What? What do you mean move my family?" She was born on December 21st. And she's like, "No, I'm not moving my family. Why am I moving my family?" Of course, my father's like, "Why am I moving my family?" "Well, you're on the wrong beach." And dad looked around. He goes, "I don't know. My kids are having fun. We're okay." And and so the guy was trying to tell my parents that they had to move. But that's the thing. It's like, no, we're having fun. We're just doing what's best. We're just having a great time. And the reason I brought up that story, of course, because Chantal told me a Leo, and I would go down a rabbit hole of that. But it's stepping into that fire and saying, this is how I'm going to live my life. This is part of my belief system. I'm doing this because I know what is true and what is right, and I'm not going to back down from that. And backing down means that you're backing down on your own self. And this isn't a time to back down on your own self. This is a time to go forward. And yeah, a lot of people don't like what you are saying. A lot of people don't like what you are doing, but it's like, you know what? You got to work around it. Gas prices are high. Well, maybe I'm not going to drive around as much. Maybe I am going to look at an e-bike. I'm going to make sure I'm going to stock up on doing the 12-12 here. Yes, perfect. It's 11 or 11-12 here. It's, this is where we start to step into our power of doing and figuring things out and figuring out what we can do. And in amongst where there is going to be resistance on what we're going to do, and trust our dial, trust our satellite system that we have programmed within our own selves, and work around what we need to work around. And there is some things we can't change. Some things we just, I would love to, with the budget and everything else that came out, it's like, yeah, there's some things I really would like to change in that. But here it goes. It's like, I do my due diligence, I call my MP, I do my letters and everything else and send them all off, and at the end of the day, I have to live my life. And that's where we're at. It's living your life. We're heading into crazy, got just a floating of energy through me. We are going to be going through some crazy energies over this next week and over the next, you know, I think by, next couple of weeks. And I feel, even with this going back to the Russian thing, um, I mean, some people, I feel like he's already gotten most of the territory that he wants taken over, and he's already threatened Finland if Finland decides to join NATO. Last week they flew over Sweden, I think it was, and went into their airspace. So Russia is really pushing where they're going to go because they're reclaiming their land. They're reclaiming their land. So that's the thing, is like a lot of their land, a lot of things got broken up after World War II. And that's why Germany was separated, to east and west. And so there's a taking back of their land. And I think this is also going to be breaking down where we're going to be seeing a lot of borders change. Um, and a lot more of smaller countries or smaller areas, becoming their own independence in some way in how things are going to go forward, because people are wanting to become their own self-govern, and they don't want, the like him or hate him, I don't give a fuck, with Putin. But he's not for the world order or Les Schwab and having him be the world order. He's not for the EU. He's not for any of that. He wants to govern his own country and do that. And countries are now saying we will pay in rubles because the announcement came that the ruble is backed by gold. So we'll pay him in the rubles then. We'll convert to the rubles. That is all a part of how new world orders come in, new energies come in for the change. And that's where we're at, where the new energies are coming in for the change. Who that is, I mean, a lot of people think it's China. I think it's a combo, of it. I think there's something to do with Russia, and I think Russia's been they were a huge dominance in the world many years ago, hundreds of years ago. Russia had a huge dominance throughout Europe. And the same with the different dynasties within China. But I don't think the Chinese government that's there now, what is it, the CPP or whatever they're called, I don't know. Anyways, I don't care. Uh, they're 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 failing immensely. They're failing immensely because they're taxing their people, but they're not taxing the rich people. In fact, in North America, rich people are really they are taxed. But in China, they're not. They're not. He's not taxing the billionaires and stuff like that. He's taxing the regular folk, and they're running out of money. They don't have it. They don't have it. And they've built cities with nobody who lives in them. And that was just to keep the people working. That's the only reason why a lot of these cities were built, was to keep, because there's so many people living in China, that to keep them working. And this is when Pluto goes in. Now, we know through history, when Pluto goes into Aquarius, there is a mass exodus of people. And it's, last time when Pluto went in there, I mean, he was in 1776, we know he was in Capricorn. Then came, from 1776 came the Great War. And a lot of wars were starting to be broken out after 1776 and into the 1780s. And Pluto was in Aquarius. There was starvation. There was a famine. There was war, and then we had a plague that hit as well. So there was huge death at that time, and we're heading into a death time of the world, where yes, there is the reset and everything else going on, but it's not the first time there's been a reset. And I think this is where we have to start looking at and prioritizing what we need to prioritize within our life, right? I just want to help everyone heal and wake them up. Yes, but people are fighting, and yes, and yes, and yes, and yes, and you can't heal everybody, and you can't wake everybody up, and not everybody's going to be on the same timeline as you are. There's many different timelines, and you got to focus on your timeline. And if when the people cross your path or decide to tune in to me on YouTube and Facebook, or Instagram, you tune in to me, then you get the message. If you don't like the message, then you continue on. If you want, if people want to be a dickhead, you can be a dickhead. I got pretty thick skin. And I'm pretty good at I'm a Scorpio, so pretty good at lashing back out at people. And not taking a lot of bullshit either. So this is where we're at, is that we got to really focus on our road, on our light, on the destination of where we're going, and step forward in it, right? And step forward into the nuances of the change. Freedoms are going to be lost in many different ways. And But yet, and here I'm going to say this is that to let people know is the light always wins. God always wins. Through the trials and tribulations and the craziness that humans do and the shit that we create for our own selves, there is a nuance and newness that's going to come in that is brilliant and that is fabulous and fantastic. And that's where we step into and create this abundance and manifest this abundance because it's there. It's there. And this energy is there for us to tap into. We just have to remember that it is there and that that vortex and that light and that beauty of the divine is shining upon us and guiding us with it all. So there's some great things going to be unveiled, and but there's going to be some horrific things that are going to be unveiled. And this is where it's, let's step into the greatness of it all. Some people have asked for some of the things. A lot of things I've already talked about and I've said many, many times over. Um, People have asked me about the draft. I can see them implementing something in the United States. I don't know who the fuck they're going to draft. They're pretty fucked up right now down there. And I think we're pretty fucked up here in Canada as well. But it's also it's because the numbers are dropping. People don't want to join the forces anymore. It's not where they don't believe in their country anymore. So that's where we're at in the world. A lot of people don't believe in their country anymore. They don't believe in their government. So you don't have the people's backing. And I think there's something that's going to happen in China. There's something there's some kind of, you know, the change came in, after World War II with China. And I think there's something going to be happening within China as well. So there's some kind of change that is going to be happening within China. I don't know what it is, but I feel there's something, I don't know, it's going to happen there within China. So feels weird. There's something going on there with it all. But again, this is where let's I'm going to go get some seeds, bean seeds, and pea seeds. Pea seeds. I'm going to buy some of those today and sunflower seeds. I want some sunflowers. My hydroponic. Oh, this is coming. My hydroponic is coming, and it'll be here on Tuesday. I'm so excited. I got my hydroponic coming. It is coming on Tuesday. This is like going to be absolutely fabulous. Let me see if I can pull this up for you all. Let me clear some of this. Well, okay. I'm still here. I'm still here. Hopefully you guys can still see me. I went on to hydroponic tower. So I'm getting a hydroponic tower and I'm thinking I might be we'll see how this goes, guys. I'm just sort of I'm thinking out loud. Sometimes it's not very good for me to think out loud, but I'm thinking out loud. Um I'm getting a tower garden and I'm going to see how this goes because it belongs to Juice Plus, and I'm thinking of looking into Juice Plus. So hang on, I'm going to show you a picture of what I'm getting. So it has to upload and do all that bullshit kind of stuff, you know. But I already talked to one girl and she does live here in Calgary and she has one. And she said that this has been the best garden that she's ever had and for things growing. So she's growing a lot of things with it. Um, and oh, it's loading. It's taking its time. Oh, Lauren. Oh, she's so cute. Um, because they have virtual franchises. That's what I'm looking into. Because I think this is going to be a great thing. Hang on. Discover, grow, growing system. Um, so you can grow cucumbers, eggplants, lettuce, kale, peppers, squash, all with your tower. And just okay, I'm going to share my thing with you. Hi, I'm busy. Share. Share screen. Share screen. Bear with me. Bear with me. There we go. Okay. So this here is the tower I'm getting. They do have, and mine's going to have 32 plants. So this is what I've ordered, this one here. And they do have a payment plan. So that is what I've ordered. And it comes with everything. Comes with everything. Comes with everything. Now this can grow all year round. So with this, stop share. That's what I ordered. Oh, did they rip you off so much money? Really? That's bad. How did they rip you off, Jen? I want to know. Because they have franchises here. And that's what I want to know about. With this company. So well, everything comes with this. Hold on. Everything is with this tower garden. And all the instructions are there. So, and the tower garden can go outside. You can wheel it outside in the summertime, and you know, and then in the evening, if you want, you can wheel it back in. And you can have it by your window. So you guys are on the journey with me. You're on the journey with me. So, and we'll see how it all works out. It comes with the pump, the fertilizer, the water, everything to go with it. So, and then I'll go from there. So that's how I work, guys. That's how I roll. I just try it and I see. And, you know, I've seen the tower gardens at different markets. And there was one lady and she was really promoting it. And this was quite a few years ago when I was doing markets with Amanda. And the one girl was coming in. And that was Witch's Brew Market. I ordered one-time purchase, kept sending it to me and charging me, and I had to send it back. And I called and talked to leaders and had to fight to get my money back. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. That's where, yeah, I know. And sometimes with those things, you have to really sort of watch the contract kind of thing, especially when you order something from, you know, the Juice Plus and stuff. My interest is not so much in the Juice Plus part, but in the tower gardens and finding out more of learning how to utilize the tower gardens. And you know, once I know how, then I can hopefully help to sell them. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But they are right now, they have tower gardens in greenhouses all through Dubai and in the deserts of Dubai. And that is so cool. And really starting to do tower gardens for people who live in Dubai and starting to grow their own vegetables. And That's the thing, is like living here in Calgary has been okay, I love Calgary, I love the people and everything, but the growing season fucking sucks. And to grow things here is a pain in the ass. Because you might have a beautiful May and then June comes in and kills all your crop. That's the whole thing about Calgary. It's just like, you don't know when exactly you're going to be planting your things. That's why I think container planting is huge. It's a great thing. And hydroponics is a great thing, especially in places like Calgary and the surrounding areas, because it's so hard to plant. I've seen people have beautiful gardens, and I think it's great if you are able to do your gardens here and plant and grow and all of that. It's fabulous. But for me, I've have not had luck planting shit outside. Maybe some tomatoes, a little bit of broccoli. My cabbage was okay a couple years ago, and then my daughter got the dog, and we couldn't plant anything last year, which really killed me. But this is doing things in a new way, in a different way, and that's what I want to do. I want to do things that I can grow indoors, and I want to learn more about the hydroponics and growing things indoors, because you could do this in an apartment. You don't need a big space. It's like worm farming. If you want to start worm farming, you don't need a big space to start worm farming, and you can make some really good money. So these are the things, and I know a couple people who've already started because I suggested it to them, and they've started it. And I'm like, well, why don't I? Microgreens, learning how to grow, doing your microgreens on, inside, because these are things that shit hits the fan and you're still able to grow something. And you may not have, maybe you could do it through solar power. I don't know. These are the things I need to find out about. These are the things I need to look into. And I feel like that's where we're at, is like we got to start looking at different things, alternative things, and just working around the system. I'm very good at working around systems, trust me. I'm not one to follow mainstream stuff all the time. This is like, we got to start looking at ways of working around the system, working around in order to create our abundance and create new ways of growth and prosperity for ourselves, because that's part of this light energy. That's part of, with that Neptune Jupiter conjunction. It's about working with the light and working with it to create the prosperity, to create the abundance. Yes, we know about the other bullshit and stuff that's going on, but this is like, yeah, let's focus over here, because I really like that energy best. And looking at it, so I'm very excited. I will unpackage it. You're going to be going on a journey with me on hydroponics. When I see because I follow Chateau Diaries and stuff in France, when I see her going into her greenhouse that she has, picking out lettuce, picking out, parsley and stuff like that for a salad. And then she can go into her garden from last year and she got horseradish. And I'm just like, oh, you know, and their soil in parts of France is very clay. The thing is, soil in UK in Ukraine, it's a very dark, deep, beautiful soil. That's why things grow so wonderfully. That's why it's called a breadbasket. It does have that very beautiful, dark soil that really grows beautifully, and beautiful crops. But this is where it's like, okay, let's start, you know, doing what we can do and planting some beautiful things in our gardens and maybe inside. And maybe maybe my little brown thumb here will become green. And add it to it. There's other things, with the Farmer's Almanac, it plants with the moon on when to plant and when not to plant. So looking into a Farmer's Almanac. Almanac follows the phases of the moon and the energies of the moon. And that's another fabulous way of planting, harvesting, and things like that. And farmers have used that for hundreds of years. And for some reason, we decided not to do it anymore. I don't know. But I think that's part of getting back to using new ways of doing things and innovative ways of doing things, of growing, of communicating, etc., and to bringing in the old ways of doing things, using the moon and things like that, could be a beautiful way of creating our abundance and stuff like that. And look at, see, Cynthia, she plants by the moon. There you go. So I mean, she could probably pop up and give some information on how you plant by the moon. What resources do you use? Do you use the Farmer's Almanac? Do you find it useful? These are things, to be discussed. These are things to talk about. One thing I will not have is chickens. No, no chickens here. Although I know they're starting to say that you can have chickens in Calgary, and you got to take a course and stuff like that. Somebody's told me it's not really worth it. I don't have time for I don't want chickens. I don't. I mean, I'd rather you take care of worms. Just put them in a bucket, throw the stuff on this. Yeah, there we go. We have the worms going. Um I could handle the worms, can't handle the chickens. Feed the worms to the chickens. Could do that. Um, but yeah, so that's where I'm at. That's what's going on, people. That's what's going on. That's what we're doing. Onwards and upwards. We're gonna create some crazy, crazy new colony of our own and abundance of our own, and let's go from there. The next thing I know is like, let's grow some grapes and start making our own wine. Or barley, and you guys can create your own beer. Um, so this is what I feel like our energies are for, and this is where we need to start going for. And join me on my journey of my hydroponics, and let's see where it's going to lead me. You know, and let's go from there, right? And create some really cool ass shit. This is what we're manifesting, some cool ass shit. So let us step into the manifestive energies and stuff. So, yeah. So follow me. I'm going to be putting it out there I'm going to put it out on my TikTok. I know I rolled my eyes, but try to do the more of the TikTok stuff. Um, I've seen I don't want to do readings on TikTok. I don't. Gardening is a life learning process. Yes, it is. Yes, it is a life learning process. It is definitely, definitely. So, well, onwards and upwards. I got to go get my grandson in about an hour here. It's half day. He was so happy. That kid does not like school. He likes to once he gets there, he's okay. He doesn't mind the people, but it's like sometimes it's like it's just too much for me, mama. It's just too much. He's such a funny little bugger. So anyways, I want you all to have a fabulous day. Share your information about planting and stuff on my Facebook, or send me an email about it. I love to learn. I want to know more about it because yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm going to do the plant stuff. Not going to do the animal thing. I'll let somebody else do the animal thing. I'm not into harvesting eggs or slaughtering. That's I'll let somebody else do it. I've already done that part in my life. I'm not doing it again. That's a story for another time, people. Story for another time. So have a blessed one, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.